All right, everyone. This time, I would like to present and explain about uh, philosophy. Specifically, I will present about the introduction to positivism, and specifically, I will explain and to emphasize the stage of human development. Okay, so what is positivism? First of all, we need to understand that positivism is not the same as positive thinking, is not the same as positive attitude, nor is not the same as positive vibe and positive life. So all these positive thinking, positive attitude, vibes, and positive life is in the area of ethics, whereas the one that we are going to talk about, which is positivism, is not it doesn't have anything to do with the ethical issues. Although later on I will explain to you that ethical issues is in fact something that is positivism wants to eliminate it, wants to reduce it, wants to let's say that to eliminate, because without ethical issues, then positivism can work uh, at the way it is. So let's see, what is positivism. Positivism comes from Latin word ponere and positum, which means to put or place something we put in front of or we agree on as what is right. So, positivism, based on the etymologically uh, Latin words ponere and positum, means that something is true if it can be um, if it can be pointed out into something that has been agreed upon. Okay, so if we talk about positivism, then we are talking about a knowledge, and if we are talking about knowledge, then we are talking about what is right and what is wrong, or what is true and what is not true. According to the positivism, something is true or something is right if it only based on fact. Okay, if it's only based on fact. Fact means that it can be observed empirically. So this is important. According to positivism point of view, fact, which is true, if it's only can be observed by empirically, if it's only observed by our eyes, maybe our sensory, we have five sensories, right? So that brings to the consequences that positivism is a way of thinking that is not based on religious or metaphysical beliefs, but on the scientific certainty by empirical observation. So positivism is ways or methods to understand humans or society as social phenomena that are objective or scientific. So the methodology of positivism really believes that they can understand everything, uh, not just understand the nature or the reality, but also by using the positivism point of view, they can understand human beings. So, in the context of law, what is right and what is wrong, or what is true or false, it depends on the stated in the regulations. So, when you don't have any regulations, when you don't know how to um, when you don't know how to revert to the regulations, then according to positivism, you cannot uh, find the true or the right one. Okay, so based on that, we should probably have to know the source of knowledge. And by that, we can identify which source of knowledge that is very important for the positivism paradigm. Now, the first sources of knowledge is the only true source of knowledge is based on religious beliefs or mystical or irrational things. So these people believes that if you want to know the truth, if you want to know what is right, which one is wrong, you have to base on the religious beliefs. Otherwise, you cannot find which one is right, which one is wrong. So it's the same as the source of knowledge that is acquired, followed, and implemented based on the traditions of previous generations. So by this means that if you want to know what is right, what is wrong, you have to revert to the old your great great grandparents uh, uh, values or your great 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 parents um, yeah, let's say that values, what they say about life in general. So if you don't based on what have your ancestor uh, taught you, then uh, most likely you will do something wrong. Now that is the second one. The third one, excuse me. The third one is true. Something is true when it comes from the authority, which is believed by the community. So this is usually coming from the collective, with the collective types of society. Yeah, the collective types of society, like a community, and in the bigger area is called country. So, what is right and what is wrong, you have to revert to what have been said by the authority. So, when your authority said that this food is not good for you, then you have to believe that that you cannot eat this food. And if the authorities say that you cannot do something, you cannot do certain things, then you have to believe that if you do certain things that has been forbidden by the authority, then you will find a difficult problem, right? So there are some people who believes that the truth is coming from the authority, as where positivism believes that the source of knowledge, the only true source of knowledge, is factual. Fact means that it can be observed empirically, as I said before earlier. So, positivism, so people who believes or implemented in their life uh, in positivism, uh, he or she doesn't believe the religious belief. He or she doesn't believe the what has been taught by the ancestors, the old generations, nor he or she doesn't believe what is coming from the authority. So he or she is um, they can accept true as long as they can observe empirically observe empirically that can be the fact. So this is the most important thing of the paradigm or the point of view of positivism. Okay, so let's move on to the paradigm of positivism. Now, positivism must have these, maybe we can say this is the criteria or the most important thing to do in order to have a successful in positivism way. Okay, let's say that. Let's just make it simple like that. So the first one is distant attitude or being objective. It means that the scientists, whether if it is a psychist, biologist, chemist, or anything or any scientist, observe, for example, falling objects, cells, or acidic solutions in his laboratory at a distance, dealing with these natural processes as mere objects. So that brings the consequences that researchers must face the object as neutral fact, namely data that is clear from subjectivity elements such as desire, dreams, passions, political ideologies, moral judgment, religion, and so on and so forth. So um, if you want to get the truth, or if you want to get the right answer in whatever aspect on your life, then you must make a distant attitude toward the object that you want to observe. That brings the consequences that all the elements beside the factual elements, such as desires, your dreams, your passions, your political ideologies, as I mentioned earlier before, the moral judgments, even the religions, you have to eliminate those things in order to have the the factual evidence, um, the factual moment, so that you can have the objective truth. Okay, and because of that, then you have to manipulate. Now, this is something that is really interesting in terms of the impact of being positivism, yeah, in any aspect, in any levels of life. So you have to manipulate, means that manipulating the object with experimentation to find something new according to cause and effect, or deductive, nomological, like if then, which is part of law nature. So when you try to examine uh, in a biological perspective, in a biological area, for example, in the biological studies, for example, then you have to use the logical, deductive, and nomological. Or in a logical point of view, this is called hypothetic judgment. Yeah, hypothetic judgment. If if the rain is calm, then I must prepare my umbrella. If you don't like apple, then do not eat apple. You know. So if then thinking process, or cause and effect thinking process is the one of the most fundamental way of thinking in terms of positivism. And according to positivism, you really want to make this thing universal, as the instrumental or the tools that you can use in every levels of aspect of life. So the resulting theory is a knowledge that is free from interest, can be applied instrumentally, universally, can also be applied to social reality. Okay, so uh, I don't think I should explain this a little bit further because it's going to be um, pretty much confusing if I explain this a little bit further. Let's move on. So The idea of positivism is that once that I had mentioned earlier that um, positivistic the idea of positivism is that one of the aspect that can hinder the goal in the positivism is to involve metaphysical beliefs. So just for example, like if you look at this picture over here in the middle, up in the middle, um, for someone who is very religious, when they don't find anything, when they try to explore something, when they try to figure it out something in their life, and they just could not figure it out, or they just uh, do not find the answer, yeah, then these people usually will move to the area of religious belief, as where the scientist is not like that. All right. So if you look at this, religious beliefs say, I don't know. So therefore, God. So we have to ask God for something that we don't know. Okay. But the scientists, in a positivism perspective, if they don't know, then they try to find out why they don't know and what's missing. So they know something. Right. So there is the attitude of scientists with the perspective of positivism. Now, the positivism is kind of reluctant, as I might say that, as I might say that, because some people, when they give up to find something else, or to find what is right and what is wrong, they always fill in the gap with God, okay, with religious beliefs, as where scientists in the terminology, or in terms of positivism, they don't in a rush to complain to God, or in a rush to uh, bring it to the area of religious belief. So they have to find out what's something missing here. What do they what why we don't know something, then we should find out what is something. Okay. All right. So with that, this is question is my it might be something good for you to think about, or it might be something good for discussing with your own groups, or if you want to um, talk to me about it or ask me about it, and if you want to discuss this with me, I would be more happy to do it. So the question is, do you think positivism paradigm capable to make society better in life? Do you think the uh, the way positivism works can make a better society? Why? Right. So this is something is very interesting to talk about it. Okay, so we come up with the last subject on this positivism, which is the stage of human development according to positivism. So according to positivism, there are three stages of human developments. The first one is the small one. The first one is the low one, the low stages, yeah, the low stages, which is the theological condition. And people with the positivism perspective will call this as a child, because the mindset of theological condition is just like a child, just like a children, just like a child, just like a kids. Okay, what is theological condition? Theological condition is that human consciousness, which is still reverse to fiction, holds to the only answer to the reality of life in fetishism, polytheism, and monotheism. Rationality is not counted as a tool to know the reality of life. So, with this low level of human development, they still believe that the only true, uh, the tool, what I mean is the tool or the instrument that we can use in order to find out the truth is by revering as the fiction. Okay, the fiction here can be defined as religious belief. So this is the children. According to positivism, this is the the child's mindset. Okay, this is the child's mindset. For example, like in Indonesia, we often experience natural disaster like earthquake. So is is often that when natural disaster or like earthquake happens in Indonesia, is it often that people would blame on the people who lives there because they don't have the beliefs in God. They don't pray. They don't do something that is related to religious belief. So this kind of mindset, according to positivism, is the mindset of a child because they don't believe in because they use something that is fiction. Okay, and this is another example of the theological consciousness, where if you still remember during the pandemic, during the pandemic, uh, especially in Indonesia, um, we have quite a few of religious people will make a judgment that the coronavirus, is the army of God. So to instead of thinking how to overcome this kind of virus, instead of trying to solve the problem of coronavirus, these religious beliefs people um, would say something that is not, according to positivism, is not true at all. All right, so it's not true at all. So that is the first stage. Now we move up to the second level, which is the metaphysical condition, or according to positivism, this can be said like teenage. Okay, the first level, the low level one, is a child, and then the second level, which is the even the higher one is from the child level, is the teenage. So what is the teenage level based on the positivism perspective? Human consciousness, which refers to abstract concepts such as causality, being, substance, and so on and so forth. So fiction is no longer a reference. Rationality is active even though it has not shown factual evidence. So, um, this, according to the positivism perspective, this kind of stage development, human development, is considered to be the higher one uh, compared to the theological condition, because in theological condition you will still depend on the fiction reference, while in metaphysical condition you don't believe or you don't depend on the uh, fiction reference anymore, but instead you believe in the casuality, the uh, substance, being, and so on and so forth. And the example of this is that, for example, a couple of years ago, or maybe a few years ago in Indonesia, we have experienced demonstration from students who happens uh, things that they know, or they know, or they have they have an idea of what they are doing. But there were several students who did not know or had no idea of the problems faced by the KPK and the legislative or DPR when asked why they hold the demonstration. So they do of what they do is because they maybe they follow their friends, maybe they just trying to be a hero or something, or maybe they have been thought or have been or got the instruction from their professor, for example, without knowing why. So this is kind of example, the kind of phenomenon that can be example of the second stage of development or human development according to positivism, because you still believe in something that is not a fact. You don't know the fact, right? These students, when they demonstration in front of the parliament building, they don't know what they're fighting for. If they do, then if they do, they if they can answer what they are doing and what they are fighting for, you can ask a challenge questions such as, okay, can you show me the evidence of what you are doing right now, or can you show the evidence, can you prove it, that your of idea which based on your demonstration is true or false, is right or wrong. Okay, if you think that is right, then show me the evidence, show me the proof. And 99.9% they cannot show you the evidence. Okay, so that is why it's called metaphysical. You don't know, you cannot see anything actually, you just believe in something that is in your head, in your mind. Okay, and this is also the example, the concrete example of metaphysical condition, and this is during the pandemic. And you know that the conspiracy theory, where some people say that the coronavirus is made by human um, instead of created or yeah, instead of coming from the animal. The conspiracy tells you that the coronavirus is made by human in order to fight against the capitalism, or maybe vice versa, in the human in the capitalism country or area is the one who made or responsible for the um, coronaviruses. So if we try to ask this type of person who says that corona is the conspiracy theory, what is the evidence? Can you show me uh, the scientific evidence when you say that coronavirus is made by human? 99.99999% again, he or she cannot show you the proof or the evidence. Okay, so the last stage of human development, according to positivism, is the positive condition. So this is the adult stage where human consciousness, which based on facts, now that is the keywords, based on facts, without originating from theological or metaphysical causes. For example, apple, the fruit apple, that faults are not caused by God's will or not caused by causality, cause and effect, but Apple falls because of the law of gravity. So, as long as you can prove by observation, by experimentation, scientific experimentation, objective experimentation, then you can uh, consider your what you do, what you think is right or wrong. In other words, if you know based on facts, if you know the proof, if you can show me the proof, the evidence, then uh, excuse me. If you can show me the evidence, then if you can if you can show me the facts, then it's true. Simple as that. For example, when people still believe in the theological condition, as I mentioned before, some people believe that when the earthquake happened is because of the people doesn't believe in God, or the people have no quality in religious beliefs, as where the positivism, the last stage of human development, according to positivism, is that when the earthquake happens, it's not because of God, it's not because of the people doesn't believe in God, but it because there is scientific explanation where the ground inside the ocean, the surface, make a movement, so that it produces um, waves, big waves, and that is called tsunami. And it produces an earthquake because of there is a movement inside the ocean, the surface of the bottom, the land, or inside the ocean. Okay, so yeah, so the stage of human development, according to positivism, is you must to uh, move up to the third level in order for you to become a an adult, which means that a human being that is adult. Okay, if you're still in this level, the bottom level, the low level here, it's you can be considered as a child. The second level you can be considered as a teenage, and you must up going up to the adult level. Of course, everyone, having said that positivism is somewhat, maybe you will think about that positivism is not good for you, because I know that we are a religious people, we believe in God, we have faith and all that kind of stuff, but um, there are there are strength and weaknesses in positivism. So in philosophy, we cannot judge uh, every points of view or every paradigm or every perspectives with right and wrong. Uh, in every perspective, every paradigm, every point of view must have strengths, also must have weaknesses. So positivism has have also strengths that we can identify here. The first strength is positivism is capable to identify the problem objectively to the phenomena that occur in nature. So if we talk about nature, then positivism is good as a tool in order to find the truth. But if we talk about something that is not nature, for example, a human being, uh, we have to wait. Okay, we have to wait. Is it good or is it appropriate or not? Okay, I will explain that just a little bit after this. Now, the second strength is positivism is capable to identify objective facts that can be used as science. All right, so science can develop because of the approach of positivism. Without positivism, science cannot be grow. Excuse me. So this is the positive way of positivism. If you want to experiment something in nature, uh, to develop the science, you need to use positivism, all right, to find out the objective truth. But the weakness is that positivism, quote and unquote, kind of forces itself to understand human being, who actually human being is uh, a unique and complex creature. You cannot understand human objectively because every individual has a different experience, different quality, different uniqueness, different complexness. So by positivism, they are confident enough to find the objective truth of human being. As if we want to make a criticize of positivism, positivism cannot understand human being because human being is a unique, at the same time complex creature. Okay, and this is another weakness by the positivism. Positivism is not capable to find meaning. Okay, to find meaning, even though it has through a process of scientific method. Because meaning itself is considered as a metaphysics. You cannot see meaning, right? And everybody has different interpretation on their meaning of life. So that leads to the status question is, where if positivism assumes that meaning does not exist nor important, why does human being need meaning? How to find meaning? Is meaning important in life? So positivism weakness, one of the positivism weaknesses here is that it cannot find meaning in life. So the meaning in life, it can only be found in philosophical perspective, in this case, only by existential perspective. So we are going to discuss that later on in this class about existentialism. Okay. All right. So the last one is so we have been talking about or discussing about positivism. So this person, whose name is Auguste Comte, is the person um, who comes up with the idea of positivism. Yeah. Uh, Comte says that religion is an illusion of childhood outgrown under proper education. So, uh, by having said that, don't forget, still remember, keep remembering that positivism has positive values as well as negative values. Positivism has um, strength and has a weakness, and that's just the way philosophy is about. All right. Thank you for your attention. I think this is all my presentation. All right. Bye bye.